Hello there my dear friends, and welcome back to another Star Wars video. Hope you're having an amazing day wherever you dwell in this huge galaxy of ours. And today I'm back with another Starfighter update. The next Star Wars movie, which drops in late May 2027. Just under a year to wait until the next film, my friends. And after the Mandalorian and Grogu, we're in a very weird period of time again. From now until pretty much when Ahsoka releases, Star Wars is gonna feel pretty darn dormant. I'm hoping there are some interesting trailers and news to talk about. We've also got that Vision spin-off, but I've not seen any real buzz about that. But in the meantime, we will take any breadcrumbs, and today we have even more information for Star Wars Starfighter. Over the last few days, we've covered some of the rumors, and today, my friends, we have some more information. This time, not about the villains, not about Ryan Gosling, but about one of the most mysterious and spoken about characters. The former Jedi played by Amy Adams. In the film, she plays Ryan Gosling's character's sister, and the mother of Flynn Grey. The leak says that she dies pretty early on in the film, and some fans have been speculating, maybe irresponsibly, that she is playing Mara Jade, a canon version of the expanded universe fan favourite. A couple of Legends authors recently said that Lucasfilm would never do this. They vetoed Mara Jade being written into the canon books, and it stands to reason either they have plans to bring her into the live action content, or they don't want to do anything with the character period, especially with the way Luke turned out in the sequel trilogy. They said it doesn't make sense for him to have a wife. I would argue it's not impossible. Maybe they split up, maybe Luke thought she was dead, or maybe she was just a student. I don't know if Sean Levy's gonna do this, but there are theories that work. There are certainly ways to link her character back to Luke. And today, my friends, an update for the character does seem to fuel the fire of speculation. Because originally, Sean Levy really wanted Julianne Nicholson for the role, which tells us he always wanted an actress who was ginger. He had a very specific look in mind, and this information has led Star Wars fans into a frenzy. It was already stated that Amy Adams is playing a Force user, she gives her lightsaber to her son in her dying breath, and now given the fact the character was imagined as a redhead, a lot of people are hoping the Mara Jade speculation is true. And just doing a bit of fan math, based on when this Jedi would have been active, there's almost zero chance that she didn't know Luke, especially if Ryan Gosling's character is a retired war hero. Another huge leak that came out today, my friends, is Hasbro is already preparing the first wave of Starfighter Black Series figures. The first four include Ryan Gosling, Flynn Grey, a new Stormtrooper, and Mia Goth. No Matt Smith, no Simon Pegg, no Aaron Pierre for the moment. I believe those are going to be in the second wave. But something fascinating in this leak is that we're getting new Stormtroopers. Are these literal Stormtroopers, maybe remnants of the First Order, or are they just bodyguards for the villains? Because we know Matt Smith is playing a warlord. Just a few little breadcrumbs of information slowly dripping out. But with Star Wars Starfighter, there's a question I've not seen too many fans address, and that is, what does Disney and Lucasfilm do if this film flops? If it's another Mandalorian and Grogu situation, what plan of action does Lucasfilm take? Because I've seen fans say, well, maybe they should pivot to the animated stuff, but in terms of profit, that's very niche. They're still gonna want to put out movies. But looking at the slate after Starfighter, nothing genuinely sounds like it's gonna be a hit. The upcoming trilogy, the Lando movie, the new Jedi Order movie with Rey. I really don't think any of these films could save Star Wars. Because right now they're facing a crazy slump. Interest in the brand is down again. But imagine how much worse it will be if their so-called real Star Wars test flops. I don't think it will, but it's certainly going to be a nerve-wracking year. Despite the amount of fans who liked The Mandalorian and Grogu, money talks. The box office numbers don't look very good, and it kind of feels like people have already moved on. But despite all of this, there's a lot of hope for next year, the 50th anniversary of A New Hope, Ahsoka Season 2, more Shadow Lord Season 2, and of course, the big blockbuster of the year, Star Wars Starfighter, which honestly has to do well. Even if we enjoy the film, even if you like The Mandalorian and Grogu, the major concern for the mouse is profit. And like I've said before, if Starfighter doesn't do well, something drastically has to change. It already kind of does with the state of things at the moment, and people are already saying that Spaceballs 2 might perform better than Star Wars next year. Disorganization and a lot of baffling decisions have led us to this very place. The Mandalorian and Grogu, small-scale spin-off, pretty inconsequential in the long run, but I feel as though the reckoning is coming in 2027. They're releasing the second season of a major TV spin-off, the second season of a very popular animated show, Maul Shadowlord, which has connections to Solo, and a Star Wars movie which, yes, once again is a spin-off, but has much more of a saga feel to it. So let's wait and see, guys. But with the overwhelming reaction to The Mandalorian and Grogu, the Force certainly does feel asleep. Let's hope Starfighter reinvigorates the brand. It might not change anything for some fans who've given up on Star Wars and walked away, but a small tiny win could do wonders. But here's the thing, and I don't want to sound like a downer when I say this, but the truth is, even though I think Starfighter is going to be a far more popular Star Wars movie than Mando, it is still just a spin-off. And just like The Mandalorian and Grogu, some fans are going to feel as though it doesn't have a cinematic legacy. Just based on some things that Sean Levy has said or Ryan Gosling has said, it doesn't sound like the new characters are being set up to appear in future movies. It's kind of just another one and done. When asked the question, Sean Levy said there are no connections to the Simon Kinberg trilogy or anything else being worked on. And this is where I think Dave Filoni as the new president really needs to make some smart decisions. I think he needs to reconsider where the brand is going post episode 9. Is doing more with Rey, which seems to be the plan, the best decision? I think they should base it on how Starfighter performs. If fans become attached to these characters, then for goodness sake, do more with them. You can sprinkle in the sequel stuff if you have to, but Star Wars fans have been let down time and again by new projects that were never followed up on. And how many times has Lucasfilm wasted their actors? So one of the worst mistakes they've already made is telling us that Starfighter is a standalone, even if that was the original plan. Just wait and see how this movie performs first. Another consideration I've seen from critics of Starfighter is that Lucasfilm might be complicating what should be a very simple future for the brand. Fans of this persuasion say, just do Dave Filoni's Heir to the Empire movie, his originally planned Mandoverse project, and they say this because that film was going to have Luke in it, maybe Han, Leia, Ahsoka, Boba Fett, and those fans argue that fan service really is all that casual fans want. And I've seen a lot of people talk about this online. They say the reason The Mandalorian and Grogu failed is there was no real hook, no real legacy characters that casuals could go home and tell their friends about. And maybe there is some truth to this. Maybe I'm wrong when I say that going into the future or into the distant past with new characters is a bad idea for casual fans. Maybe for the overall Star Wars brand to work, you have to pander to what fans find familiar and comfortable. To this extent, if you agree with that line of argument, then yes, Dave Filoni's movie probably would be best. There have been rumours that movie's been cancelled or being made into a TV show, but Dave Filoni has not addressed any of that. It's all just noise at the moment, and if the movie is still going to happen at some point, it's going to be post-Ahsoka Season 2. But then you have the likes of Tony Gilroy, who made an excellent, experimental type of Star Wars show. Again, it was great, but didn't get very good viewership. In a recent interview, he gave his input on the future of Star Wars, and he said he hopes Lucasfilm stays ambitious. He doesn't want them to revert back to the Skywalkers. So I guess Star Wars is at a crossroads, and this is the kind of stuff Dave Filoni has to work out.